right. Welcome back, everybody. If you are just tuning in, my name is Jeremy Lapidus. This is Sports by GSMC. We just finished covering the NBA trade deadline. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We have these alerts here at the bottom. And if you want your questions to get to the top here, all you have to do is go to this link, this donation link, leave a tip, donation, and your question will get right to the top and answered immediately. Now, what we're going to go over here for this second segment here is the NFL Honors, which is currently going on right now. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the finalists, go ahead and make a couple predictions, and then once we're done with predictions, we will, if we have time, take a look at the winners and compare them to what we thought. All right. So diving right in, we'll start at the top. MVP. Finalists here for MVP are Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, and Brock Purdy. Now, in my opinion here, this really is a two-horse race. Lamar Jackson had an incredible season and is just so much fun to watch on the field. Lamar Jackson and Christian McCaffrey is the other guy who is in this race for the MVP. You know, a running back here, he's definitely at a disadvantage because the last time a position that was not quarterback won was 2012, Adrian Peterson. Now, Christian McCaffrey had a phenomenal season. I do not want to downplay this at all. 25 touchdowns, probably was the biggest reason that the San Francisco 49ers are the juggernaut that they are right now in the Super Bowl. And the reason that there are two finalists from the 49ers on the MVP list, which is crazy. So that's who it would be between for me. Now, I know Dak Prescott has the stats. I know Dak Prescott had an incredible season, a great bounce back year after leading the league in interceptions last season. But he isn't going to win this award. When you look at the seasons that Lamar and Christian McCaffrey had, Lamar especially, while it might not jump out on the stat sheet, if you watched any of those games, he was clearly the most valuable player on that field. What he was doing to get the Ravens to be that number one seed in the AFC, to be as dominant as they were against all these great teams. It was so much fun to watch. Lamar Jackson is my MVP. Moving on to Defensive Player of the Year. Again, 5 finalists here. DaRon Bland, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and TJ Watt. This is probably an award that is hotly contested. There's a lot of huge names on here. You know, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt probably are the top 3 there. I'm going to give it to... I want to give it to Myles Garrett here. And this isn't to discount Micah Parsons. What Micah Parsons does on the football field is one of a kind. His ability to basically play any defensive position and do it well is something that amazes me every time I watch him play. But the impact that Myles Garrett has on every single down rushing the passer, even when he's doubled, in the back of that quarterback's mind, Myles Garrett is there. And you can look at the sack numbers and you can say, oh, he didn't dominate sacks. That doesn't matter. He is the best defensive player in football, and he deserves to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. Micah Parsons will win it eventually. I guarantee it. I don't think this is his year. Now, could I see it going to him? Absolutely. Micah Parsons is incredible. But my vote is for Myles Garrett this year. And now we move on to um, another hotly contested uh, award. Excuse me, can't get the word out. AP Offensive Player of the Year. Now you have Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, and Dak Prescott. And we just talked about Christian McCaffrey in the MVP conversation. Insane what he's done. And then Tyreek Hill, what he didn't quite hit 2,000 yards, but what he did do this season, one of the best wide receiver seasons in recent memory. Regardless of that, you can't, when you have a non-quarterback that is out there on the MVP finalists, top two in a lot of people's opinion, mine included, AP Offensive Player of the Year has to go to him. What Christian McCaffrey can do through the air, on the ground, he's a special talent. So he deserves to win that Offensive Player of the Year award for me. Now, it does become a different story here if he ends up winning MVP. Because I don't think the AP voters would let Lamar Jackson get out of there without a award of some kind for what he's done this season. So when we're looking at this, there's two possibilities. Same thing for the MVP. Now, what I think is going to happen is Lamar Jackson is going to win the MVP and Christian McCaffrey is going to win Offensive Player of the Year. But that could be switched if the voters decide to do it. This isn't the year where you're going to have a runaway winner of both categories from the same guy, you know? But it's going to go to one or the other, I believe. And whoever doesn't win MVP should win Offensive Player of the Year. So, in my opinion, it should be Christian McCaffrey. But if he wins MVP, who knows? Moving on to AP Offensive Rookie of the Year here. We have our 5 finalists, really our 2 finalists. It is between CJ Stroud and Puka Nacua. Bijan Robinson, Sam Laporta, and Jahmyr Gibbs both got nominated as well. But you take a look at the Lions, first of all. Shout out to them. Incredible turnaround season here. Getting 2 of your rookies nominated for Offensive Rookie of the Year is awesome. And what they have done in such little time to turn it around, making the NFC Championship game, is super impressive. That being said, this really is a 2-person race. You know, this is between CJ Stroud, who had one of the best rookie quarterback seasons of all time. If he had played all of the games, he definitely would have broken the passing yards record by a rookie, currently held by Andrew Luck with 4,300 yards. CJ Stroud ended up with 4,100 yards. So he missed 3 games. I 100% believe that he would have gotten 300 yards in those 3 games. And then Puka Nacua, who had a record-setting rookie year. He set the records for most receptions and yards by a rookie ever. You know, this is coming off guys like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Randy Moss, these guys that had the greatest rookie seasons in history, and Puka Nacua comes in, a 5th-round pick, and dominates the league like this. And as much as that is impressive, what CJ Stroud did, as a quarterback, he's going to get a lot of bias. He just had one of the greatest rookie quarterback seasons of all time. So I don't really see a world in which it goes to Puka Nacua, but he deserves his flowers for what he's done this season. Incredible season by Puka. So congrats to him for getting on the finalist list. Then the Rookie of the Year for the defensive side of the ball. It was kind of a weaker defensive class than in years prior, but that's not to say there weren't some standouts. Will Anderson also of the Houston Texans, had a monster year. Jalen Carter, defensive tackle for the Eagles, was just eating everybody up in the run game. Joey Porter Jr. on the Steelers had a really, really good season in coverage. Kobe Turner on the Rams, a huge body in there, really helped shore up that defense. And Devin Witherspoon, who if he hadn't gotten hurt, I think would have had a better chance in this award. Now, I do think this is going to go to Will Anderson. Now, excuse me. I do think this is going to go to Will Anderson, just because outside of, because he just straight up had the best rookie season. The way that Texans offense and defense turned around was crazy. I mean, it happens with these guys when you get drafted, 2 and 3 overall. Will Anderson was one of the huge reasons that defense was able to turn around in just a season. Now, you obviously go and you get D'Amico Ryans out of the coaching pool, but having Will Anderson on that team is huge for you. A guy that puts up a guy that puts up 7 sacks, 37 tackles, and a pass defense, especially at the end of that season, especially when he was getting more comfortable, getting more used to the league. He really came on strong towards the end. So, Will Anderson Jr., I think the Texans sweep the rookie awards just like the Jets did last year. 2 years in a row that we have a rookie sweep in the awards, which is pretty crazy. It's a lot of fun, but Will Anderson is my defensive rookie of the year. 2 more to go here. We have the AP Comeback Player of the Year. Now, this one is more of a battle between, do you think it should be based on coming back or most improved player? And there's been a lot of arguments out there. I still think Damar Hamlin is going to win this award. Coming back from literally dying on the field is one of those things that it's hard not to give AP Comeback Player of the Year to. Now, you could make the argument that it should go to a guy like Baker or Joe Flacco because they were the most improved players. But that's not really in the spirit of the award. Comeback Player doesn't really have to do much with improvement. Now, if there's a year where no one comes back from a major injury or a major event, then yeah, you can use that. But in this award, I think Damar Hamlin absolutely deserves it. He made a full recovery, was playing football. It's super impressive. So he should win AP Comeback Player of the Year here. And last but not least, we have Coach of the Year. Now this one's a little interesting. We've got Dan Campbell, John Harbaugh, D'Amico Ryans, Kyle Shanahan, and Kevin Stefanski. You look at the Lions, that turnaround we had, and the same thing with D'Amico Ryans and the Texans. What they did in just 1 year with these teams is incredible. And this is probably the hardest award to give out of the night, honestly. Taking the Detroit Lions to the NFC Championship game. Winning the NFC North for the first time ever, hosting a playoff game for the first time in 25 years. That is a season that deserves to be Coach of the Year. But in a year where you have D'Amico Ryans come in and literally turn around the Houston Texans in one offseason, You get that franchise quarterback. You get that defensive star in Will Anderson. And you make the playoffs in year one after being a bottom feeder for the last 3 years, just out of nowhere. Last year they were the second worst team in the league, and now they're making the playoffs. There wasn't really any kind of signs of, oh, they're going to turn it around at the end of last season, like with the Lions, who kind of went on that hot streak at the end. This was just out of nowhere. And then Kevin Stefanski on the Browns, you can kind of say a little bit of the same thing. Now, that defense is what really carried them, but dealing with that many injuries and still making it to the playoffs is crazy. They went through four quarterbacks. Four quarterbacks. They were starting Joe Flacco there at the end. I got to give this award to DeMeco Ryans as much as I want to give this award to Dan Campbell. DeMeco Ryans and what he has done in 1 year is just so impressive to me. But yeah, those are the NFL honors. If you want, next week, we will... Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to Sports by GSMC. I have been your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Remember to go and check out our other social media platforms: TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, obviously here on YouTube. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a donation if you need. That we really appreciate that. It really helps out the channel. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. You have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.